I don't know how many of you know who this man is. His name is Klaus Schwab. He's a German engineer and economist, best known as the founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum. Schwab founded the World Economic Forum in 1971. Not only that, he is a former member of the steering committee of the Bilderberg Group. He holds 17 honorary doctorates and national medals of honor, including the Grand Cordon of the Order of the Rising Sun of Japan, the Grand Cross with the Star of the National Order of Germany, and the Knight of the Legion d'Honneur of France. He was also knighted by Queen Elizabeth II, Knight Commander of the Order of St. Michael and St. George, KCMG. Schwab is almost an elite among the elites and a strong advocate for world government.
A very cordial welcome to the annual meeting, to the 50th annual meeting of the World Economic Forum. We are celebrating the 50th birthday, but much more important is that we are celebrating 50 years of engagement for the stakeholder responsibility.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to welcome His Eminence Cardinal Turkson, Prefect of the Dicastery for Promoting Integral Human Development of the Vatican City-State, with a special message from His Holiness Pope Francis.
Pope Francis sent prayerful good wishes and God's blessing to Davos World Economic Forum. He did so in a message to the WEF's Economic Chairman Professor Klaus Schwab, sending a representative to the annual meeting taking place in Davos Closters, Switzerland on January 21st to 24th, 2020. The Pontiff's message was read. In these years, Pope Francis observed, the World Economic Forum has offered an opportunity for the engagement of diverse stakeholders to explore innovative and effective ways of building a better world. Okay, now remember this, the World Economic Forum Strategic Intelligence website. We covered this quite a bit in depth with Celeste Solom a few weeks ago, so I won't go into too much detail about how they have this website developed with COVID-19 very much central to it. But what I want to show you now is a new article by Klaus Schwab on the Strategic Intelligence website titled The Great Reset. Actually, you can get to this article without having to go through the Strategic Alliance page of the World Economic Forum. This article titled, Now is the Time for a Great Reset. Professor Klaus Schwab says we can emerge from this crisis a better world if we act quickly and jointly. The changes we've already seen in response to COVID-19 prove that a reset of our economic and social foundations is possible. This is our best chance to instigate stakeholder capitalism, and here's how it can be achieved. The COVID-19 lockdowns may be gradually easing, but anxiety about the world's social and economic prospects is only intensifying. There is a good reason to worry. A sharp economic downturn has already begun, and we could be facing the worst depression since the 1930s. But while this outcome is likely, it's not unavoidable. And he goes through various reasons here to pursue a great reset. The most important and the most urgent is COVID-19. Having already led to hundreds of thousands of deaths, he says, the pandemic represents one of the worst public health crises in recent history. I'll skip down the article and further towards the bottom he says, during the COVID-19 crisis, companies, universities and others have joined forces to develop diagnostics, therapeutics and possible vaccines. establish testing centres, create mechanisms for tracing infections, and deliver telemedicine. Imagine what could be possible if similar concerted efforts were made in every sector. The COVID-19 crisis is affecting every facet of people's lives in every corner of the world, but tragedy need not be its only legacy. On the contrary, the pandemic represents a rare but narrow window of opportunity to reflect, reimagine, and reset our world to create a healthier, more equitable, and more prosperous future. Okay, now I'm just going to go back to the Strategic Intelligence website, which you actually have to be logged in to see this. I'm just going to read a little bit on this Great Reset here. It says coronavirus-related lockdowns provided a glimpse of what is possible in terms of limiting pollution, and the pandemic's human toll illustrated what can happen when health care systems and society safety nets are neglected. Now it's up to the leaders in the private and public sectors to seize the moment and help create a more equitable and sustainable society. It's very interesting how they have turned this into opportunities for reducing pollution and creating sustainable development. Now, Klaus Schwab has been a consultant in the sustainable development areas of the United Nations over the past. And there are a whole lot of other articles related to this whole Great Reset within the Strategic Alliance's website. And look at this article from June 4th on the World Economic Forum. The Great Reset, this week's World versus Virus podcast. The Great Reset, launched by World Economic Forum and His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, seeking better form of capitalism as world recovers from pandemic. Welcomed by the United Nations, International Monetary Fund and companies Microsoft, MasterCard and BP. The COVID-19 crisis has shown us that our old systems are not fit anymore for the 21st century, said World Economic Forum Executive Chairman Klaus Schwab. In short, we need a great reset. This week's World versus Virus is entirely devoted to the launch of the Great Reset, a project to bring the world's best minds together to seek a better, fairer, greener, healthier planet as we rebuild from the pandemic. All of this fits in with the United Nations Sustainable Development, Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030 goals. The elite globalists are using not only COVID-19, but also the chaos created through the current protests and riots, ostensibly racial equality protests, but in many places hijacked by Antifa and other extremist groups who are in large part funded by the elites, and of course your rank and file criminals who've taken the opportunity for looting and violence, and then the reactions to that with some places wanting to defund the police and so on. This is all to bring about and steer the world into a new world order system that these elites want. Oh, they'll tell you it's to create a better and fairer world, with them at the top, of course. But really what it is doing is moving us into the beast system and collapsing the current system to bring in what will be the beast system from which the Antichrist eventually arises. So don't be surprised, folks, if we see great turmoil in the days ahead. God bless and stay safe, folks. This is Tony from aminutemidnight.com.